Tailgate Talk. It is Fritter, Wags, Tasker, the boys back together. 97.3 The Game. Thanks so much for listening. You want to find us on socials. It is at On The Tailgate. In fact, if you do follow us there, specifically Instagram and Twitter, you have probably been a part of participating in a little survey I put up there last week, a questionnaire of your favorite wild foods, like favorite wild food preparations, wild game, whether it's fish, land, sea, air, whatever. Well, got a lot of responses and used that along with a few other things to put together the top 16 wild foods and place them in a, seeded amount 1 through 16, much like we did with the gas station snacks a couple of weeks ago. We are going to go through our bracket of ultimate wild foods. So we're going to get that coming up here on the show. Want to get a little housekeeping of some stuff and chat about it before we get going here. The crazy things that happen in the world that, we all like to talk about. You sent a text message to us the other day, and here we are, back with Wolves.
Yeah, and so, Wags, I don't know if you saw this or not, but so what the most recent article was saying from TMJ4.com was saying that they're actually going back, and so back when they were trying to reintroduce the wolf population, they were trying to get the number to be about 350 was what they wanted for total statewide population. Okay, well, the big concern that they had when they reinitiated the wolf hunt last year, and they were trying to figure out how many tags that should be allotted, all that stuff. What was the capacity for it? Well, the big concern was, we don't think that there are as many wolves out there as what everybody else thinks, but now they're saying they are estimating the population to still be like 1,050, I think it was, or like right around 1,100. So it's still almost triple what they want the population to be at, and that's even after taking, I don't even remember what the number was last year. Was it like 212 or 312?
Something like
that. So even though they were concerned about too many wolves being harvested last year with the season, now they're coming back and they're saying, our estimates were in fact wrong. We still believe that there are roughly 1,100 wolves in the state. So now what do we do?
Well, I don't think those facts that they've stated, I don't think that surprised even one hunter,
right,
or one person that hunts north of the Wisconsin-Illinois state line, because we've known that, we called that, we talked about that before, and the numbers were just incredible when you say 300 or 290 or 350, and we're seeing packs of 12, 13 running around, and it's not the only one.
Yeah.
What do you think is a bigger issue, wolves or coyotes?
Me personally, I think the predator situation with coyotes, they are what they are. You can, as a farmer, you can harvest, you can curtail their predatorship. You don't want your sheep and goats and your small farm animals. We got that. I'm not so consumed by the amount of coyotes per se. I think those are taken care of. Wolves are a little bit bigger, a little bit scarier, a little bit more, like you said, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Hey, if a coyote comes in out your door, just open up your screen door or your patio door and yell, and the coyote will most likely take off. I have literally seen wolves on a snowmobile trail, on a bug line or an old rail line up in northern Wisconsin, literally come after a snowmobiler, even with the machine. So I want the wolf population low to zero as much as I can. The coyotes, I'll deal with it like we've talked about.
Yeah, it's interesting. As you were talking about that, I was kind of thinking about how I felt about it. I would go the opposite way, and I would say that the coyotes are a bigger issue because there's a higher population of them, and they're more residential, I guess I would say. Like I was saying a couple weeks ago, how, we've got this hunt going on in our subdivision or whatever with the farm fields that are just north of us. They're very present, and I feel like that's a bigger concern for a lot of people because the population numbers are higher, but also with them being so rural and suburban, I guess, that a lot of people think about them more because they're hearing them a lot and they're concerned about their actual dogs, like home domestic animals.
Right.
Up until this year, I'm like, well, whatever. We've never seen wolves. We've seen one wolf in the 40-something years that my dad has hunted up there. We're in northern Wisconsin. And then for us to actually see one this year, I'm like, okay, yeah. I see why there's all this credibility behind, everybody being concerned around that. And I don't know, man. It just, I feel like.
I mean, we can go back to your areas, the concerned areas where you're losing a small dog, a small cat, a family pet. Those areas can be controlled as they are being controlled now. They can be either trap or firearm or however you want to do that. They are skittish. Like Ritter said, they're skittish. I mean, don't be so. I mean, yeah. I mean, if you let your dog out unattended at night, and things are going to happen, you got to use a little common sense. But I've literally seen wolves on the active. Doesn't matter. You can scream all you want. If you scream at a wolf, I've seen a wolf come after people. I've seen him go after four-wheelers. I've seen him go after. I literally seen him go and attack up a dead. I mean, wolves are scary, man. They're scary. This is like when I always said I like to hunt. You like to hunt wolves and bears because you can't flinch and scare like you can a turkey, a deer, a coyote. Sometimes you flinch or try to scare a wolf or a bear. They may come over there and say, "I'm not flinching. I'm going to eat you."
I love that.
I think we just found an episode title. I'm going to eat you.
There's that old saying, remember? Hey, I don't have to be fast. I just going to be faster than you.
Yeah.
Valid point. What are you more afraid of, a wolf or a bear?
I am more afraid of a wolf.
I'd say the same thing. Yeah. I feel like the likelihood that a bear would scatter is higher than what a wolf would.
That's a tough one. I just feel like a bear is such a large creature. And a bear can easily pin you down more. That's where my head goes right of I feel like I could fight off a wolf. Easier than I could fight off a bear. But, you mentioned the effect on whitetails, and that's really what it comes down to. A lot of people with a concern with predators. That goes along the lines of another article that, we got talking about. Is it wolves, the winter, or just general habitat decline that you think is the biggest cause of deer numbers to be down? There's a big article that was on Outdoor Life talking about deer numbers in the North Woods, be it Minnesota, Wisconsin, and even into Michigan, that people are harvesting less and less deer, and people that used to harvest all the time are finding their seasons less successful.
For me, I'm going to go, the weather hasn't changed. I mean, we can talk about, you can do your analysts, we can do global warming, we can do frozen tundras, we can do all you want. But generally speaking, it comes in full circle. The wolf population and the bear population, the predators are there. Whether these animals are moving further south to communities where they feel they're less attacked or less. We've seen large bucks in Elm Grove. We've seen large bucks in the Shaniqua, in the areas like that where they're not hunted and there's no pressure. I get that. But the ones up north, they know how to eat bark. They know how to find food when it's scarce. They know how to weather cold weather and warm weather and how to find water and to manipulate through the things that they can't control. But when all of a sudden you've got animals chasing them to eat who are just as hungry or just as mean, that's where I think it is. I'm going to go with the wolf population and the bear the predation.
Tasker?
Yeah. It's an interesting question, I guess, because, where we have not had, huge numbers. I mean, a couple years ago, we had the highest number of deer that we've ever harvested. Including one that my wife totaled her car on. We had 4 deer that year. For many years, we were lucky to have 1 deer every year. And now, I mean, I could have harvested a number of deer this year because we saw so many deer. And always in the past, it's been that if you see a deer, you got to shoot it or you probably aren't going to get a deer during the season. I mean, that's how it was for the longest time for us. I think that maybe they are having better survival rates for the newborns, for the fawns, because it has been milder climate. But, I mean, it's still I'm such a small sample size, so it's hard to say, I think this is what it is. I know in my experience, this is what I've seen, is that the deer numbers are getting bigger up there. And I'm hoping that it is because, we had that off year with COVID that we've talked about where people just didn't go up and hunt. And last year we didn't get a deer, so there's, a couple more deer. And if the overall harvest numbers were down up in that Eau Claire County, maybe there's a number of factors that go into that. Do I think that the wolf population is growing up there? Yeah. And they're eating something, so it's got to be impacting that population one way or another.
In Minnesota particularly, and, they're mentioned a lot in this article, they have had some pretty bad winters. Winter's gotten much worse, especially in areas of northern Minnesota than a lot of us have seen. Us being located in southern part of the state of Wisconsin, so we're away from some of the even look at this winter. Like, we've had barely any snow in the southern half of the state. The northern half of the state was covered in snow before Christmas.
Yeah.
So it's just there is a bit of that discrepancy. I think none of the above are the cause of the downfalls of deer. I'm still going to point to something that in the state of Wisconsin we suck at, and it's CWD.
Yeah.
I still think that is a bigger threat than wolves, weather, or anything.
Yeah, there's a number of things that go into that. I honestly, I don't think that anybody can say with 100% certainty that it's one of those factors that is making the biggest impact on it.
I mean, Wags, how many times have you seen over this last season different counties posting out, CWD positive in this county, in that county, in this county, baiting stops here? Like, it's all over our state. Like, it's how we can control it, and if we don't control it now, like, if this article they're saying they're declining, like, already, like, think about how much worse it could get. And I'm not trying to, like, doom and, like, bring the mood down and everything, but I just feel like this article, they missed that. They missed that in the article of mentioning that being a thing that declines deer.
Yeah, and I agree, but it's not like blue tongue. It's not like we're yes, the CWD, the tested pieces, the harvested animals that have been taken to the test sites have tested positive for it. But I haven't heard the stories of a spring where a guy in Buffalo or Trempealeau or Jackson County or Iowa County has in the spring went out shed hunting and found deer carcasses that weren't hit by cars but laying in river bottoms. CWD, yes, it is something that we need to know more about it. I know we can eat animals like that and there's no tested positive that you're going to get sick or anything like that. The only numbers that are rising are the ones when they are taken to test stations and they are harvested. That's why I agree that it is an issue. But when you get the blue tongue issues, or you get the Montanas, you get the dry riverbeds, when you start finding dead deer carcasses, that's when I think does this lead to it if we don't control CWD in some sort of way? I'm assuming it probably would. But again, the CWD, yeah, it does. But most of those test numbers and all of those results and all that data that we have are all animals that were harvested and taken into test sites.
Mm-hmm. The crazy thing about CWD to me is that, I mean, it's 100% fatal. An animal gets it, it's going to die. It will not make it past 2.5 years old. So, I mean, yes, there could be lots of deer, but you're not going to have bigger mature deer. It's just it's not going to be a thing.
Right.
That's, I think, the ultimate biggest concern to a lot of people is that. Because we come from the world of outdoor media, of everything's about, monster bucks and all that stuff.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I always want to shoot a big deer, but that's just not realistic.
Yeah. I got another story I want to quick wrap around to. We mentioned bears before. Something absolutely insane happened in Florida. Something insane happening in Florida, am I right? A man went out onto his patio in Daytona Beach and found a black bear busted through his front door. Apparently he was chasing one of his dachshunds. The guy, without skipping a beat, protected his pack of wiener dogs. So there's 3 dogs on the porch. This guy just dives at the bear and pushes it away and slides some bench in the way to try and scare it away. He threw a 5-gallon bucket at the bear. It's just insanity. I would do the same thing.
That was my initial response. I know that I'm fighting a bear to save our dogs. I know that I would be stupid enough to do that, and then I would lose an eye or something, and then I would be mad forever.
It's just hilarious to see this whole thing go down. The guy's sitting on their porch, and this bear just comes running up and goes at one of the dogs, and he, without missing a beat, just dives at the thing. I did see in the original video of this, the wife of the guy actually found it and was commenting and said that he's okay, everyone's okay, but he had to start rabies treatments. It was the guy, he was super concerned about how that, because that can be painful.
Yeah.
But you were scratched by a bear, so yeah, I guess
Yeah, right.
You got to look out.
Well, he's lucky that that's all that happened to him. That it wasn't something much worse. Just getting scratched or whatever. I mean, it could have been really bad.
Yeah, when I think of animals, before we were mentioning what are you more afraid of, a wolf or a bear? To me, cats, friggin' mountain lions are still the one thing that would frighten me. Mountain lions is about the only thing I think that absolutely frightens me.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I've seen enough of those videos now that I think I sent you guys that one not that long ago. It was in the last 2 months where a guy was out hiking and he was face to face with a big old cat, and he just kept like making noise and kept doing, whatever to try and scare the thing away. And then he finally it was going to leap at him, and it was kind of crouching back. You could tell that it was ready to pounce, and he just had to end up shooting the thing right in the face. And it's like, I don't know. I mean, what else do you do at that point? It's like you're not trying to find these things. You just end up in those situations.
Yeah, and that's true. I'm going to go back to that because cats and wolves, man, they don't. The bear, you're right. A bear can attack or something like that. I don't know what he was doing in Florida action. Maybe he was looking for food. That's they're doing. Generally, when we've seen black bear action up north, even Kodiaks and Browns, as you go further into Alaska and the Kodiak out, they're always there's always a cub. There's always something smaller. There's always there's always something involved where cats and wolves, sometimes they just say, what the hell? They're just going to, like I said, they're going to come at you. I'll tell you, hey, that guy's arm looks pretty good. I'm going to eat that today. You know what?
Yeah.
There's the other video of a hiker that was hiking around a trail, and a cat sort of following him down in the brush, like below like a little hill, and like following him, and like, the guy was like backing away and like trying to make all the noise, and the cat just like kept coming at him. Eventually the cat like stopped and turned around, and luckily the cat didn't come at the guy, but he didn't have like anything to protect himself. He was like walking and like trying to like find a stick, a rock, anything to like. I'm not afraid of sharks nearly as I am of cats.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of things to be concerned with in the world.
Of course, I bring up sharks because that's what I'll be dealing with. My biggest threat all next week, as I'll be in Mexico doing some fishing. In fact, we'll be doing this show next week. I'll be
taking it worldwide, baby.
Absolutely, I'm looking forward to doing some beach fishing and hanging out and just enjoying 80 degrees instead of 8 below zero.
Yes, and then you can come back from there. You can do your beach fishing. And then next thing you turn around, it's the Wisconsin Fishing Expo and the February, and then there's up in Alliant and Green Bay, and the next thing you know, you're just rolling right into it. And you missed the majority of your, well, not really all your ice fishing, but hey,
a lot. That's what's happened to me a lot the last couple of years when I've been doing these tropical trips at the end of January. It totally screws with the ice season because it puts, and then I've got another trip planned in there. I'm headed to New Orleans because I was lucky enough to be invited into and on the crew of King Arthur, and I'll be riding on the Royal Float with the royalty of that and having some connections there in New Orleans, and so like a once in a lifetime opportunity for that. So I've got that's going to take up a week of my time as I'm headed there. So just I'm already calling this ice fishing season pretty much a wash and a waste.
Oh man. You know what? I was at home on Tuesday. I had a bunch of stuff that I needed to get done, and I called my boss and said, you know what? I got a bunch I got to work on. I'm going to just work from home today. And it was a day that it was so freezing cold, and that happens to be our garbage and recycling day. I'm not going outside, so I just was wearing like shorts and a pullover or whatever. I ran out to get the garbage cans and ran back.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is why I don't do really late season bow hunting. We did that this year. And why I don't do ice fishing, damn it, because it's just so cold out here, and it doesn't matter what you have on, it's always cold.
I think was I the latest hunter of the season?
Yeah.
I wrapped up on January 4th.
Yeah, because mine was like the 26th or 27th of December.
And that was another frigid. I remember that we got a bunch of snow the night before, and the temp drop. It was so freaking cold. I think I remember looking at before I left, the feels like temperature was supposed to be 2 above.
Yeah. And mine was that day that it was so cold right after Christmas. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to pack a lunch. I'm going to do an all-day sit. It's going to be one of my last days of the year. And we had been texting a little bit, and then I was so cold. I'm like, you know what? I haven't seen a damn thing yet. I'm going to go home. I'm going to go home. I'm going to get the biggest cup of coffee I can get from Quick Trip, and then I'm going to go sit in front of the fireplace and thaw out.
What you got to do, and I don't know, Vags, you've got, your redneck blinds, it's nice and warm and those things too. You got to get one of these insulated cups, whether it's a Yeti, an Arctic, or whatever, and you got to fill that with coffee. And here's the hot tip that I'm going to give to keeping your coffee warm in those situations. I don't care what freaking brand mug you have. If it's a metal mug and it's out in that cold, what's inside will get cold. Like, I'm sorry, the guys that are, like, I've got somebody who hits me on social all the time. It's like a big Yeti purist. It's like, if it were a Yeti, it would stay hot. I don't care. You take a can koozie. You take, like, those, like, can koozies meant for, like, silo cans, especially if you got, like, the thinner, like, this Arctic mug I have right here is one of the, like, the thinner, taller ones. you put it in one of those can koozies, and then you put another can koozie over the top of it, so it's like wrapped the full outside. The metal is insulated too. Then it'll stay hot.
Okay.
So that's what I was doing in those late season mornings. I would drink a coffee on the way, and I have one filled in my pack, covered in the koozies. And about 8:30, that was my pick-me-up every morning. My 8:30 coffee. I'd reach in my bag and have a fresh, hot thing of coffee. Oh, it was the best.
I've seen guys do that with hot soup too, like chicken noodle soup or whatever. That's just another thing to just warm me up a little bit. And I'm like, you know what? I should really do that. And then I never do.
Chicken noodle soup is old school. That's old. That's old school. half the young kids don't even know what the hell chicken noodle soup is anymore.
I mean, you could go the classic Stanley thermos. I've got my Stanley that I keep my coffee in and I bring every day. But this is just too big and cumbersome. I want something smaller.
Right.
So, Stanley makes smaller cups too. Shout out to the Stanley brand. They make friggin' awesome thermoses. Wild food. Should we run down our top 16 and then we'll come back and start the process of elimination, because I think there's going to be a lot of him and Han, because we can only pick one. Like, the whole point is we're going to determine the ultimate. So these are the top 16 ranked. Should we start at 16 and work our way to 1?
Sure.
All right, coming in number 16, elk hamburger. So like elk hamburgers. Followed by the 15 seed, pan-seared venison heart. 14 seed, the classic slow cooker squirrel with cream of mushroom soup. So good over rice. 13, smoked salmon. The 12 seed is a roasted pheasant. Coming in 11, shredded goose breast. All right. 10th is grilled salmon steaks. Venison tacos, the 9 seed. Start thinking about how these are going to match up with some other ones. Now, you're going to have to make some choices coming up here. The 8 seed, seared duck breast. Okay. So it could be thinking like a mallard or wood duck, something like that.
Yep.
7, beer battered bluegills. Okay. 6 is roasted turkey breast. So, your wild turkey, roasted breast. Venison pot roast at the 5 seed. Classic Wisconsin deer camp food. Duck jalapeno poppers, the 4 seed. The 3 seed, venison jerky. 2, the walleye shore lunch. And number 1 seed. You want to take a stab at what number 1 seed is?
Baked cod.
Oh, no. Wild food.
I don't know.
Grilled venison backstraps.
Wild food.
Okay.
Backstraps and tenderloins.
I was going to say, the one thing that I was surprised that wasn't in there was like a venison summer sausage.
Yeah,
like hot sticks or whatever. I'm surprised that's not in there.
I tried to lean it away from that because venison that can be anything. Like even venison jerky I thought was kind of basic. So I thought that was the one that kind of encompassed because, So yeah, there was a bit, but thank you if you submitted, by the way, on our socials, at On the Tailgate is where you find us. I put it out there last week looking for ideas of what people thought. And some really cool recipes were shared with us on there. So if you don't follow us, go check it out at On the Tailgate, and you can see what some other people have been doing for creating some awesome wild foods. We've now laid out the bracket for this week. A couple weeks ago, we did this with the ultimate gas station foods. If you want to go back and find out what we say and have determined is the ultimate gas station snack food, that was, 2 weeks ago on the podcast page. You can check it out. But this week, it is all about wild game, wild food preparations, whether it's land, sea, or air. Broke it down. There's 16 items. We ranked them 1 through 16, seeded like you would, a big basketball tournament. I don't know if we can say the name of that basketball. People with legalities get weird about that stuff. But there's this big basketball tournament every March, where they – so it's seeded the same way. 1 versus 16, 2 versus 15, whatever like that. So should we just start with the 116?
That's the worst start because when you went through them and we got to 1, 2, 3, and 4, I see that. Elk burger is number 1, and number 2 is backstraps and your tenderloins and my venison. So this one kind of I need the upset. I need the 116 upset, I think, but I don't know who to choose.
Yep. So that number 1 seed, grilled venison backstraps, number 16, elk burger.
I mean, I feel like you intentionally 1 and 16 seeded these so that we would argue about
what? I would never do something like that. I would never intentionally set something up for an argument.
We know you too well. Yeah, I don't know how you pick between those two. Elk is just such a great meat. And I mean, a venison backstrap is just, I mean, there is no better. So, I mean, it's the best of the best for venison. So, I don't know, man. I mean, I guess I'm just going to stick with the 1 seed just because it's the 1 seed.
All right, Taskers and grilled venison backstraps. Wags, are you sticking with that?
I'm going with the elk burger. Elk burger, I mean, once you have an elk burger, you know it's phenomenal. They're phenomenal. But I love everything. And like I said, it's a tough call. But I'm going to go with my choice. If I got one, I'm going elk burger.
All right, I'm going to break the tie then. I'm going grilled venison backstraps.
Oh. I can't believe you do that to us.
All right, let's jump over to the other to one of the other seeds here. We got the 2 versus 15 walleye shore lunch versus pan-seared venison heart. I do love me some heart with a little butter and garlic. Put like just a little bit of flour on the heart and then throw it down in the pan with that butter and garlic. Excellent. But my vote is going to be walleye shore lunch
for me.
Yeah, shore lunch without a doubt.
I figured that was going to be a clean sweep. All right, let's jump down here to the 3 versus 14. Venison jerky and the slow cooker squirrel with cream of mushroom soup. I'm already filling this one in.
Jerky.
You tried hard to sell the squirrel. No.
Have you had that, though? Have either of you guys had?
I've not, no.
I have not either. I have not. So I shouldn't really say that.
It's so good, man. You take a couple of squirrels, you throw it down in the crock pot with, dump like a can or two of cream of mushrooms, the condensed cream of mushroom soup in it. Cook the crap out of it all day, and then kind of get in, like, if you can, pull them out and pick the meat off, or otherwise just, be careful and eat it as you go along. Just spoon that over some rice. Oh. I mean, you could do it with, like, egg noodles, too, but over rice, it's so good.
I love cream of mushroom soup, but it's just something about anything like that is ranked higher than the elk burger that's going to drive me bananas now.
We can't make them all easy rankings. Sometimes there's a slip up. You'll lose an early match early in the season, and it puts you at a lower rank when you get into the tournament. So, I mean, that's unfortunate. That's just what happened with the elk burgers.
You know what I feel like is going to happen here? We're going to get to like the Final Four, and it's going to be like Survivor, where they bring somebody back. And then this elk burger is going to mysteriously reappear like between the Elite Eight and the Final Four somewhere.
There's no bringing back, I promise. The bracket of Ultimate Wild Foods right here on Tailgate Talk. All right, let's go the 4 seed versus the 13. Duck jalapeno poppers and smoked salmon.
Yeah, I'm a duck poppers for sure. I mean, I don't mind salmon. It's just it's not a huge thing for me, so that's an easy one.
I'm gonna go duck poppers as well, but the smoked, that's a pretty good battle right there as well. But I'm gonna go poppers. I'm gonna pass on the smoked salmon on this one.
When it comes to smoked salmon, I hate locks. To me, that's not smoked salmon. Like I want and the ultimate smoked salmon is like still hot, fresh out of the smoker. Oh, there's no better way to eat salmon. You like brine it, smoke it, and eat it directly out of the smoker.
I agree.
So good. But yeah, duck poppers is mine because, you put jalapeno and cream cheese in anything, and it's fantastic. All right, moving. Okay, we're going to stay on the same part here. The 5 and 12. 5-seeded venison pot roast versus the 12-seeded roasted pheasant.
Wags, why don't you go first? I got to think about this one.
Venison roast or the pheasant. I'm gonna go. I guess I'm gonna have to go venison roast. It's easy to put in a crock pot. It's roasted pheasant. Most of my pheasants. It was funny because you said something about a venison pot pie, and I know we're gonna reach that one soon. But I prefer the pheasant pot pie. I'm gonna go with the venison roast. That's my choice.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you got potatoes and carrots and all the juices together in a crock pot. I mean, it's hard to beat venison pot, which is why I think that, to me, is like the ultimate deer camp food. Because that's just something you throw in the crock pot in the morning before everybody goes out, and that's like the hot meal at the end of the day that everyone can look forward to. I mean, you can't bet against venison pot roast.
Yeah, I'll go with that, too. I'll get suckered into it. See, here I was thinking the whole time that it was like more of a roast where you're doing like the condensed like French onion soup. You're doing the pepperoncinis and all that stuff.
Yeah, Alabama.
That's what I was thinking. We were
same-
kind of going. I mean, it's all the same.
Yeah,
It's
basically
just-
the same thing. If that's how you want to imagine it in your head,
I'd feel
for voting
better about
purposes,
it that way. Yeah.
then that's what we're gonna do for you, Tasker. All right, Wag's gonna let you get first vote on this one too. The 6-11 matchup: roasted turkey breast. So your wild turkey, just breasted and done in the oven.
Yep.
Or shredded goose breast, kind of the same thing, like that crock-potted, slow-cooked shredded goose. You could do barbecue with it, tacos, whoever you want to do, but just shredded goose in general.
I'm going to go with the turkey breast. We harvest a lot of turkeys. We eat a lot of turkeys. My girls eat the turkey breast. That's what I do. And I may lose something. And I know when people get ready for their turkeys for Thanksgiving and so, but when you're hunting the wild turkey, the muscles, the legs, it's not like you're going to eat the drumstick. I don't. I'm not saying you can't. I don't. I just breast them out. I'm going to go with that. Goose is generally in a jerky or a smoked or something. I'm going to go with the turkey breast, fresh, wild turkey that gets harvested at 6:15 a.m. I go pluck it, breast it out, and it's gone by noon.
I remember having this conversation with you, Wags. It was almost a year ago. We talked about this. It was right before turkey season. And you had said you only breast them out. And I remember going, wait, what? Because to me, I love, like I mentioned the squirrel thing, doing almost the same thing with turkey thighs. Or you take your turkey thighs and, again, slow cook them down and then shred it and make a wild rice and thigh soup. I'm like, there's drool. Like, I'm salivating right now just talking about it. But yeah, you take the turkey thighs and legs, throw them in a crock pot, again, cream of mushroom soup, same thing, pick it down, throw that over rice too. Oh, it is fantastic. My vote, by the way, is going to be shredded goose on this one because to me, like shredded barbecue goose or like, shredded goose tacos, awesome. You're the tiebreaker.
All right, I'm going to do turkey, though.
The last matchup, 7-10. Beer battered bluegills, the 7 seed, and grilled salmon steaks, the 10 seed.
I'm an easy one on this one. Bluegills for sure.
Yep, bluegills for me.
Clean sweep. You're really going to hate when we get into the next round. Here we go. Oh, no, I forgot we do have one more, the 8-9.
Yeah.
Seared duck breast and venison tacos. The 8 seed seared duck breast, the 9 venison tacos.
Venison taco for sure.
Wags?
I'm going to go venison tacos too, but I've never had them. I've never had venison tacos. I've had shredded. However, I've made my venison or used my venison. I've never put them in a tortilla of any sort, but I would go that route.
You've never taken ground venison, a little taco seasoning, and made some, gringo style tacos with it?
No, I never did. When I take my ground venison, we usually use it. And I hate to say this because people are going to say I'm going back to your cream of mushroom soup task, like a stroganoff or a chili. I don't make venison burgers either. I'm not a venison hamburger. Put it on between two buns. I'm not a venison burger guy. All my venison, when it's ground up like that, is in chilies and spaghettis and in stroganoffs.
You mentioned that venison chili almost made the cut, but I mean, we couldn't have
not really sure how that didn't make the cut.
Well, but everything would have been too venison heavy.
Yeah.
So again, that's where there had to be some things that got kicked in because otherwise, I mean, you could do a 16 seeded bracket of just venison things. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, all right, here's where we got the number 1 seed venison backstraps against the number 9 seed venison tacos for the coveted spot into the final 4 of our Ultimate Wild Foods bracket. Are you going venison backstraps or venison tacos into the final 4? Wags?
Venison backstraps.
Backstraps.
I think that's pretty. I'm writing right now because that was, my vote, period. All right, let's go the number 4 seeded duck jalapeno poppers versus the number 5 seeded venison pot roast for another coveted final 4 spot. I'm going duck poppers. Duck poppers for me all the way. It is one of my favorite. Teal. Oh, that is the best way to utilize teal. Make little poppers out of them. Delicious.
Yep, absolutely.
I'm going to go with the venison one on this one. I mean, I'm not a deal breaker here, so I'll be the odd man out.
So, Wags, poppers is your vote?
Yep, poppers.
All right. Venison jerky at the 3 seed versus number 6, roasted turkey. Venison jerky or roast turkey?
Ooh.
I'm gonna, because that could be a lot of different things. I'm gonna just go with what I am thinking of immediately with the roasted turkey.
I'm saying the turkey breast too. It's just turkey breast. Sorry, I want to clarify. It's roast turkey breast.
Yes. I meant with the other side of that, with the venison, that it could be a lot of different things. So I'm just gonna go with the straightforward roasted turkey breast.
That's a tough call because I enjoy the turkey breast, but everybody loves venison jerky, and I can understand why venison jerky is up on the high spot. But
I feel like for you, Wags, this is like choosing a favorite child.
And we started the game that way too, so I'm not happy.
We're back to gas station sandwiches and Slurpees again.
Yes, I'm going to go. I know it's going to be a kicker because venison jerky is almost a staple for everybody, but I'm going to go with. I really enjoy turkey season coming up. I'm going to go with the roasted turkey breast. I like breasting out the turkeys and finding a way to consume them.
That's the first upset match so far here. They're the 6 seed taking down the 3 seeded jerky. My vote would be jerky, but I'm odd man out, so turkey breast moves on. And now we reach.
And you're a jerky guy, all the time. You love beef jerky.
Absolutely.
You love dry. Yeah, you take that. That's your food, even when you're hunting or whatever you're doing, fishing.
Yeah, in my pack, I've always got a venison epic bar or some sort of epic bar usually with me. All right, 2 seeded walleye shore lunch versus the 7 seed beer batter bluegills. Notice how this is all falling out. We get the battle of the kind of the fish bracket, the venison bracket. There was no thought that went into seeding these appropriately the way that they were seeded.
I see that.
That's a good. This is a good matchup too. But you can't beat a cold water, a flowage, a run down the Chippewa or the Flambeau, and a shore lunch with a walleye shore lunch. You can't beat that. I don't think as great as bluegill, perch, everything. A shore lunch, a walleye shore lunch is my number one too. I'm going to go with walleye.
I agree.
And that's what mine. We mentioned that just was it last week in the walleye shore lunch. That to me is my favorite, my ultimate, and one of the best parts that I love about fishing in Canada is just how fresh and easy it is to catch walleyes and have a fantastic lunch each and every day. Nothing beats a little pan-fried walleye shore lunch over that fresh-made fire on the shore. So we have our final 4 all set in our ultimate wild foods bracket. Are you ready? I feel like I should have like some weird basketball tournament-y type music with this or something to really amp it up. But the lowest seed, the number 6 seed, roast turkey in the final 4. Duck poppers, 4 seed. The number 1 seeded venison backstraps and the number 2 seeded walleye shore lunch. The only real surprise there, the number 6 seeded turkey breast. And that will open up the voting here against walleye shore lunch to find a spot in the championship. Is it walleye shore lunch or roast turkey breast for you, Wags?
Oh, you suckers.
That was sucker, not anything else.
Suckers with an S. There was not an S as in snake, not another letter that could sound like it.
I said suckers. I'm going. I got to go with the shore lunch. Shore lunch is phenomenal. Shore lunch.
I agree.
The walleye shore lunch, the very first of our ultimate wild foods, making its way into the championship round. I knew this was going to happen. 1-seeded venison backstraps, 4-seeded duck poppers. Have at it.
Yeah, it's an easy one for me, backstraps. I mean, my favorite venison recipe is with backstraps. So
but you're making poppers with backstraps.
I know, but it's totally different. So it brings the best of both worlds for that recipe, but
remember,
it's an easy one
just
for me.
Grilled venison backstraps.
Yep, that's fine.
So if you want the popper part,
I'll take that. I'm still going with backstrap for sure. As soon as we got to the final 4, I knew what my top 2.
Yeah, backstraps for me.
And I'm gonna go duck poppers. Would be the best in there.
Okay.
It's hard to beat a venison backstrap, but duck poppers needs to have somebody pulling for them. So I got to
totally
give them a vote.
agree.
But I knew this was going to happen. I knew this was going to be the final 2. Venison backstraps, walleye shore lunch. What is the ultimate and best wild food? Y'all know my vote right here already.
I feel like I don't even want to talk about it because they're both just so good.
Wags, where are you going to go with this one?
This may throw you off. You may not. I'm going to walleye shore lunch.
That's what I was.
I'm going
to.
My shore lunch, especially like I said, that cold water walleye. Whether you're in Canada, northern Wisconsin, on the river, the flowage. If you're just, That's Wisconsin. That really is Wisconsin. And though venison backstraps are too, whitetail hunting, we all know that, turkey, everything. A shore lunch, you can't beat it. The only thing that I'd put down there is maybe an elk burger, but I'm going to go walleye shore lunch.
Trying to bring that elk burger back, Wags.
Yeah, we haven't heard about the elk burger since the first question. And boy, it's still just sitting there in the back of our minds.
You're going walleye shore lunch too?
I'm going walleye shore lunch.
That surprises me. That's the biggest surprise.
I know, man. I don't know. I mean, there's just something about it. It's just so dang good.
Well, that's 3 votes for walleye shore lunch, and there you have it. Ultimate wild food. Walleye shore lunch.
That was good. I mean, a little frustrating depending on the seating, but, I mean.
Again, you got to, they had to be seated out in an appropriate way. Think about it. That big basketball tournament, there's a lot of deliberation that goes into who gets what seeds and what regions they go to. And so, there was a huge panel, myself, that really went into working hard on putting together this, 16-seeded bracket. So.
And just like that tournament that you're talking about, there's a lot of teams that think they should have been seated higher, elk burger, that, they end up at the bottom, and then they're out right away in the first round. So.
And you can almost do it a whole opening on shore lunch, whether you have how you do it, whether you egg, butter, milk it, whether you use your own powders, your own flours, whether you do a shore lunch. When I go to those, and you can walk through your show, you probably even see it at the fishing expos, you're going to see multiple opportunities. It's sort of like going down the Bloody Mary aisle.
Right.
Is it Jimmy Love's? Is it Mr. Key? I mean, there's everything. There's millions of Bloody Mary. And now there's so much for your shore lunch. If you want a light batter with a panko or a breadcrumb, or they're phenomenal. When those fishing, I come back with those little pouches, maybe about 100 of them in my bag, and you can go crazy. You can go crazy with that.
So, Wags, you're when it comes to shore lunch, you're by the pre-made kind of batter mix type thing.
When somebody else does it, if they put a little herb, a little green in it, or something like that, I eat it. For me personally, unfortunately, I usually go fast, and I use a pre-made. I'll use a shore lunch, or I'll use a panko mix, or something that is pre-made with a little bit of spice, but something that I have tried at the expos and stuff like that with those small samples, or at least pre-COVID when they gave so many samples out,
right.
You could taste them. So that's the way I did it. But yeah, I don't sit there and make my own pre. Do you?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, let's face it. That's the guy that I am. In fact, I did a whole thing on my YouTube channel of how I do it gluten-free, too, because my wife with a gluten intolerance, so a lot of times I fry fish, I'll do it that way. Super simple and easy. I do cornstarch, cornmeal, or you can actually even use grits. I've used fine ground grits in it, and Tony Sachere. That's my mix. Put in a big bag. It's all set to go. I usually keep a container of it around the house. Or if you don't want to, if you're not worried about the gluten, you just swap out the cornstarch for flour. You do a little bit of plain all-purpose flour. Again, you do your cornmeal, kind of a 50-50 flour cornmeal, and then some Tony Sachere seasoning. To me, that's my favorite, and it's easy. And there's so many on the market that are fantastic.
You could do a million different
right. You don't have to make it on your own. I really do. I just do because of the gluten thing. It's really the main reason why I make it, because it's hard to find a gluten-free batter, and if you're going to find a gluten-free mix out there, they're going to charge you an arm and a leg because it has the words gluten-free on it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I've always found that just even, like Wags was saying, like just a shore lunch, and then just adding your own spices to it. Like if you do a little cayenne or, paprika or whatever that might be that you want to add to it. Honestly, I mean, I think that gets the job done. And, for the couple times that you happen to do that all on your own, I don't see anything wrong with that.
No, and I'll go everywhere with that. Even when we boat or wherever I go, my green can of Tony is always with me. That's the seasoning. That's usually my go-to seasoning.
Yeah.
But there's a place up in Oshkosh. It's called Wagner's Deli, no relation. And if you ever go there, there's cans, and there are all these different cans. This one season is called Chicken, and it's the best. It is absolutely the best. There's a lot of them. There's a BS. There's a blah, blah, blah. But the chicken is phenomenal. It's a go-to seasoning. It's a lighter salt just because I'm getting older, the sodium intake, whatever. It is phenomenal. Tony's and my can of chicken is perfect.
Another great one from down south, Slappy Mama. That's another great Creole, Cajun type seasoning. Slappy Mama. Another really good one if you ever find that.
Yeah.
Yep. There's There's that one that comes also in the square can, and I forget what it is. I got that introduced with the Maryland blue crabs
Old Bay.
when I was out east.
Old Bay
Yes,
seasoning.
Yep.
That stuff is good.
Yep.
Yeah, Old Bay and Tony Sachere are two staples in and around my house all the time. Old Bay a lot is using it around my crawfish boils and crab boils, stuff like that, shrimp boils. But I got a plane to catch, boys. So we got to wrap it up here this week. I'll talk to you guys next from the beach in Quintana Roo of Mexico. Hopefully telling some tales of catching a couple of snappers or cuda, or I'd love to get a hold of a needlefish or something while I'm down there. So we'll see what happens.
I love that for you, man.
All right, well,
good, yeah.
I'll be sure to share photos. I'm at The Real Ritter, like a fishing reel, or just the show itself, at On the Tailgate. Back next week. Like I said, I'll be live from Mexico. We'll be talking some fishing, and I'm going to have a lot of tips to share of traveling and how you can still travel with things like fishing gear. You know, there's a lot of people that you don't want to do things just here. There's other places that you can see and how you can go either fish or hunt, and some tips I have getting through, navigating the process of flying with stuff. So we'll talk about that next week on the show. Until then, we'll catch you next time.